Tell me what your life was like before you died.
When I was 29 years old in 1977, I went through a week of escalating psychic ability that I could not understand, that was highly accurate, and that kept building up and up and up, and I couldn't understand why. Until a week later, when in the middle of a car accident, I was hit head-on by a speeding car, and I was taken to Infinite Mind. I went through the tunnel of light. I went to Infinite Mind, completely forgot who I was, came back to my body a couple seconds later of Earth time, and I was laying in the middle of the street. I'd just been hit by a car. People were screaming, people were hollering. Me, I'd just been to heaven and back. I jumped to my feet, somewhat excited, but certainly rather confused. It was an eerie situation. I wasn't hurt. I thought about just walking home, but the people around me, which were quite a degree of witnesses, 20, 30 witnesses, plus the driver of the car who was terrified, they were all screaming at me to just stay at the scene till the cops come up and the police and the ambulance, and okay, that'll make sense. I didn't want them chasing me down through the alleys trying to figure out what happened. So I stayed there, and a few minutes later, cops, police, ambulance came up and asked me what happened. Well, that started a real opened a can of worms, because I told them truthfully that I went to Infinite Mind, that I had had a week of escalating psychic ability, on, and of course, they weren't too pleased to hear that. They didn't know how to deal with that, and I didn't know how to make up some story that made sense to them. They didn't know what to do. I wanted to just go home. They insisted I go to the hospital. I had to. They took me to the hospital, the ambulance, x-rayed me, checked me out, didn't have a scratch, not even hurt. And then a psychiatrist came in, and he started talking to me. And I had known this. I had a premonition about this psychiatrist a week later. In fact, I had a premonition about this whole incident. The psychiatrist who was now standing in front of me was just one of them. I knew all about his family and his kids, and he's mind blown. And he's asked me how I knew all this, and I tried to explain to him, and he was rather confused too. But he admitted that we can't just let you go home, Gary. You've been in a rather strange circumstance. You know, you were hit by a speeding car, you didn't get a scratch, this is bizarre. I had no problem with it. I wouldn't have understood what I'd been through. I wouldn't have believed that I was sane either, because of what I was telling people. Spent 10 days in a psychiatric hospital. It was a joyride to me. I was entertaining the other clients, the other patients at the hospital, playing guitar for them. They called me Mr. Smiles. At the end of 10 days, they bring me before a board of psychiatrists to see if I'm stable enough to let me walk free again, or to recommend another 10-day mandatory commitment, at which point I explained to them that I'm not changing my story. This is what happened. I had a near-death experience. I didn't know the term at the time. I didn't use that term, but I told them what happened, that I went to Infinite Mind, came back, but it's relevant because that's why I'm here, and I'm okay. And even my psychiatrist who'd been treating me, I helped him deal with his kids, because I was picking up, while he was analyzing me, I was picking up about problems he's had with his kids. And in the week of analysis at the hospital, I ended up talking to him a lot, and he was grateful, although he had a hard time admitting it. So at this meeting of 10 psychiatrists, he, along with the other ones, agreed that Gary's sane, he can go home, and I did. And at that point, I told the psychiatrists, you guys should study these people in here. They probably do have some psychiatric problems, but there's a distinct relationship between psychiatric issues, higher mind, spirituality, creativity, breakthroughs, and we need to study this. So they realized I was intelligent, I was in good health, I was sane. They let me leave. About 2 months later, I had sort of a reboot. I started feeling Infinite Mind again. This time my roommates called, my parents, my mom came down, took me to Brackenridge Hospital. I did another 10 days. This near-death experience in 1977 blew me away. It was the most beautiful, empowering, enlightening thing anybody could have, but it was so intense. It took me months to kind of come to terms with it. I wasn't afraid. I was just trying to figure out what happened and why. And 8 months later, me asking my guides over and over and over, the same guides that said, "Do you trust us?" and protected me. Why did I have this experience? I had to know. And 8 months later, out of the clear blue, they appeared. I didn't see them, I felt them. They sent a message into my brain at the same time I saw like screen credits rolling off in the distance, and they read out into my head, into my ear, the same thing I was seeing, and it basically said, "You had this experience because you wanted to know. You're always curious. You're always seeking information so you could handle the truth. We took you there. We brought you back unscathed, and that's why there was grounding agents, the car accident. It all made sense. It was like not an accident. It was a guides that helped me design this little trip so I could see Infinite Mind and come back. There are no accidents. Everything's cause and effect. And so I encourage other people, you really want to grow, you really want to see power, believe in it, ask in it. Put your fears and doubts aside. We all have them. We all go through them. If you never went through doubt, you'd certainly never look for certainty, and you probably wouldn't find it because you're not looking for it. If you never went through fear, you could never be on the road to fearlessness, period. And so everything we go through in life can teach us something. We can benefit from the good, the bad, the ugly. We can benefit from everything. And that's one of the things I think I'm so grateful for having learned, because I went through hell on depression in my 20s. I'm bipolar. I know feelings of inadequacy, fear, doubt, confusion, but again, I also know they're temporary. And our mindset, our heart, our intentions can help us not only grow over those problems, but benefit from them, maybe become a good healer. You wouldn't become a good healer if you didn't feel things to heal people with. So everything we go through in life, we can benefit from. I was going through such intense changes and challenges that eventually led to a car accident in 1977, a head-on collision that I was outside my body. And I was looking at my body getting tumbled over by a car, not aware of what's going on, what's happening, and soon I wasn't even aware of me. But I started expanding outward in all directions. It was the most beautiful feeling. 10 minutes earlier, or 10 seconds earlier, I'd been terrified. But once I was hit by this car out of the clear blue, I'm free, I'm liberated. I'm going to, I don't know where, but it's beautiful. And I started expanding and growing. And at that point, I realized that's how souls come into the body and out. We expand outward at death. We come into the mother at birth from all ages of the universe. And that's how we take an impression. This just became so apparent to me instantaneously in 1977. So I'm expanding, went to what I thought was the edge of the universe. Felt like I went through a realm of consciousness called the colors that gave us the power to use our senses, our intelligence, our mind, our experiences to go back and understand who we are, why we got here, and what we are to do. There's connections to everything that we can discover. So I'm expanding, and finally went to what I call infinite mind. It felt like a blue sky as far as I could see. Everything was separate and everything was one big pulse. It was infinite mind over infinite time, completely unbiased. Nothing could limit it, and every possibility would manifest because it was all infinite mind imagining everything. And I, not knowing that it's me, am observing this. I felt like I was at one with it, and then all of a sudden I'm observing it. I'm being pulled away. I'm being pulled back to something. I go through this tunnel of light in reverse. Somewhat apprehensive. I have no idea who I am or where I'm going, but where I just was beautiful. So as I get closer and closer to Earth, I felt some sort of connection with this planet. Then I saw 3 series of pictures, very distinct, as I started coming closer to Earth. The first was all the chaos that we're going through now. I saw these like flashing newspapers, spinning newspapers, pictures. I saw COVID-19, I saw 9/11, I saw the earth changes, I saw environmental changes. And people today sometimes ask me, what did I see? Watch breaking news for 5 minutes. It's all over the media, this big transformation. The next series of pictures I saw were the result of entering the Aquarian age, where things are very peaceful. They're healed. We're getting space and technology from the sea, and things are a lot better. We're a little ways from that right now, but that's where we're headed. We're going through the transition from the age of Pisces to the age of Aquarius, and there's about 100 years of kind of confusion, and we're right in the middle of it. But I'm an optimist, and that's where we're headed. The third series of pictures I saw was about me being a musician. And then I saw my body, and I jumped back into my body. This is 1977. This is February 7th, 1977. I saw my body, I jumped back in. First thing I noticed, there's this red hair flowing all over my head. It's the driver hanging over me, terrified, screaming. I couldn't stop. I didn't care. I'd just been to heaven. I pushed him back, got to my feet, trying to figure out what's going on. And it was definitely an eerie world, but I was fearless. And the little distraction of this accident kind of became a little bit more than I could handle. I kind of pushed the driver away. And then I thought, well, I'm just going to walk home. I'm not hurt. But people suggested, no, stay around till the cops come, the ambulance come, explain the situation. No problem. I'll just tell them what happened. Because when the cops came and the police came, first they're looking around for a body that's laying in the street, blood splattered. There wasn't a blood splattered body. It was just me. And all the people around me are pointing like, here's the guy. I raised my hand. Yes, I'm who you're looking for. They're asking me how I'm even standing. And just like you did, I felt no pain. I had no scratch. I had no blood. I'd just been hit by a speeding car, and it's like I didn't even feel it. They were mind blown. I was mind blown. Every time they tried to ask me questions, or every time they asked me questions about what happened, I answered honestly, which didn't make sense to them, which I completely understood. The next thing that happened, they wanted to take me to the hospital because they wanted to x-ray me. No problem. Took me to the hospital, x-rayed me, checked me out, I wasn't hurt. Then a man came into the emergency room, walked over to me. I recognized him from premonitions. He was a psychiatrist. We'd never met. But I knew about him and his family and so forth. And he's kind of, how did you know this? And I said, I know everything right now, And what I didn't know is that they were going to put me in a psychiatric hospital. He explained, the things you've been talking about, a little weird. I had no problem with that. I'd been to heaven and back. It's been a strange night. You think I care? Put me anywhere you want to. I just needed to come down. Well, next thing I knew, I'm in jail because they had to get a order of protective custody. It took a couple days. My brother came into town, signed it. Next day, I'm in Shoal Creek Hospital here, and I'm having quite a time, really. I'm entertaining all the patients. Everybody likes me. And I even started writing down the time that the doctor would come in to see me, because the doctor would come in, my psychiatrist, at random times. I'd write it down on a little piece of paper, put it in an envelope, give it to the nursing staff, and ask them to hand it to the doctor when he came in. And they did. So he walked in my little room with this envelope and said, it's a letter from you. I said, yeah, read it. I'll read it later. No, read it now. Look at it. He opened it up, said, 10:30. What does that mean? I said, look at your watch. 10:30. Coincidence, Gary. Next day, he opened it again, 2:14. What's your watch? He couldn't handle this. God bless him. He was a very beautiful man, but a very conservative psychiatrist, very fundamentalist, and he couldn't handle my explanations about God and the universe and picking up things. Anyway, we got to be reasonably good friends, and at the end of 10 days, he, along with other psychiatrists, decided that I was perfectly mentally healthy.